You spirited, stop lying. Let me show you right there. That's what you did.
No,
That's what you just did to his wall. Don't tell me that one spit. That was rude. Excuse me.
Fans are shocked to learn that what began as a rocky relationship has become much more serious, with Michael now pursuing legal action against Angela after some pretty intense incidents. Just when you thought things couldn't get any more bizarre, things on 90 Day Fiancé took a wild turn. The drama between these two has reached a peak, and today we are diving into a legal mess. If you have been following Michael and Angela, you are aware that their relationship has always been turbulent, but the most recent information was unexpected. Let's examine what drove Michael to his breaking point, how this is impacting their relationship, and what this might mean for their future. Michael's lawsuit against Angela represents a significant turning point in their story, exposing a side of their relationship that viewers typically don't witness.
You tell my daughters all women are stupid.
So what do you expect me to do?
Mother.
Now. So
You
what
better,
is
let me
it?
tell you something. You better get your ass and get your...
I said
You
my
have to get
opinion.
duck up. Duck
The
up.
relationship between Michael and Angela has been one of the most talked about topics on 90 Day Fiancé, and it's easy to understand why. At first, it seemed like their love story would be normal, but as time passed, the cracks in their relationship became more apparent, and people began to view Angela's strong personality as concerning. The first significant turning point occurred during one of their heated arguments, when she spat on Michael in a fit of rage. This wasn't just shocking, it was humiliating for Michael, who felt violated and helpless.
That's ribs. Remember I kept telling you about hog? That's hog.
Oh,
You see the different flavor?
okay.
You know, pig? Did you just spit on there?
It's not spit.
Michael, did you?
Babe,
What did you
it's not-
do?
He just spit on the wall. You went, why did you do that? You're sitting here denying.
I'm not
You
denying.
spirited, stop lying. Let me show you right there. That's what you did.
No, it's
That's
not.
what you just did to his wall. Don't tell me that one spit. That was rude. Excuse me, Skylar. That was rude. That's disrespectful to my friend's place. Honestly. Honestly, embarrassed.
For Michael, this was a part of a pattern that had been developing for years, not just an isolated incident. Although Michael had always been subjected to harsh words and insults from Angela, this particular incident represented a new low point. The act of spitting was a clear step up from the verbal and emotional abuse he had been receiving, and it was a sign that things were getting out of control. Despite this, Michael attempted to maintain order in the hopes that it would be a one-time incident and things would return to normal. Unfortunately, things only got worse during another heated argument. This was the moment that changed everything for Michael. It was no longer simply heated words. It was a physical assault with burns so severe that he required medical attention. The emotional impact was even more devastating. Although the hot water attack was potentially fatal, the spitting incident was humiliating. It was evident that Angela's behavior was worsening, and Michael knew he needed to protect himself before it was too late. Choosing to file a lawsuit against Angela wasn't simple, but it was his only choice because he could no longer ignore the abuse or hope that things would magically improve. He had to defend himself and take charge of the situation before it got out of hand.
To do, you keep talking
I
about
want
same
you
thing
to
over
admit
and
you have
over.
a lying problem.
What lie did I lie again?
All the time.
What did
You
I lie
lie
again?
all the time, Michael. You get
What
caught
the-
up and then you stick with that lie and think if I say it enough, everybody's gonna believe it.
After the burns and the pain, Michelle realized that he couldn't just keep quiet any longer and decided to take legal action, not just to get justice, but also to save himself. Michelle had endured Angela's crazy mood swings for years in the hopes that things would improve because he loved her and believed their relationship could be saved despite all the warning signs. Michael was torn between wanting to keep things private and realizing he needed to take care of himself. The physical and emotional scars served as constant reminders that things had gotten out of hand as the days passed and the burns grew more severe. On the one hand, he didn't want to share their private problems because he was afraid of how people would react, especially since their relationship had been on national television. Michael began to understand that he needed to take action since this was not a little altercation that could be ignored and that he needed to act before things worsened. Michael finally realized that he couldn't handle Angela's rage on his own any longer, so he decided to speak with a lawyer. This was the first step towards regaining control of his life. After hearing Michael's account of the hot water and spitting incidents, the lawyer saw right away that Michael had a strong case. The attorney informed Michael that he had every right to pursue damages for the physical and emotional suffering he had endured, emphasizing that it was vital to convey that abuse is never acceptable. This was not just a few arguments. It was a pattern of abuse that had escalated into violence. When Angela learned about the lawsuit, her reaction was explosive, as anyone who had seen her on 90 Day Fiancé would have expected. She was furious, accusing Michael of overreacting and attempting to ruin her life out of spite, even though she was the victim and not the one who had abused her. This legal battle wasn't just about money. It was about standing up against a toxic relationship that had crossed the line, and with the lawyer's support, Michael found the courage to move forward, realizing
Thing tell you that Michael is cheating on Angela in any way.
I've got 160 pages of reports. To answer your question directly, no, there's not.
Okay.
Good.
I don't care. I don't care. You said talk. What did you leave there do?
Although Angela was furious and ranting about Michael's attempts to harm her reputation and betray her, beneath all of that rage was a developing sense of terror. The fact that Michael was serious about taking this to court hit her hard. She was losing control, which scared her. The courtroom scenes that followed were intense and full of emotion. Angela realized that this wasn't just another fight that could be resolved with a conversation. The lawsuit was serious and could reveal to the public the darkest moments of their relationship. The case received a lot of media coverage, and people were curious to see how it would play out. Michael stood forward and related his experience of years of verbal and emotional abuse. The hot water attack that left him wounded and the spitting incident that destroyed his dignity, medical records, and testimonies from friends and family who had observed the symptoms of the toxic relationship supported his evidence. Angela attempted to explain herself by saying that Michael was the one who provoked her, but the evidence was too strong. Angela's defense began to crumble as the reality of her conduct became apparent, and the trial's emotional toll was heavy for both Michael and Angela. The images of Michael's burns, the medical reports, and the testimonials of others who had witnessed the abuse were too compelling to ignore. Angela being forced to relive their darkest moments in front of a courtroom full of people.
What y'all think about me? Because I know the real mother.
But he's not better than the private investigator, though.
Because
and we can,
you know
we
why?
can
We
all.
didn't have enough time to get it all. He ain't had enough time. This is 2 weeks investigation.
The court decided with Michael, highlighting the obvious pattern of abuse and calling out Angela's actions as not only wrong, but also something that could be taken to court. The trial concluded with a verdict that everyone had been waiting for, and you could feel the tension in the courtroom after going through all the EV. This moment was significant not only for Michael, but also for anyone who had ever been in a difficult situation like his. For Michael, the court's decision felt like a mix of relief and validation. It was as though the legal system finally acknowledged what he had gone through and gave him some protection for the future. However, the verdict sent a strong message beyond just the money and the restraining order. Michael was awarded some money for the physical and emotional pain he endured, which, while it didn't erase everything, was a solid acknowledgement of his suffering. Fans have also expressed their opinions on the topic, saying that abuse is never acceptable under any circumstances and that victims should fight back.